What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Rain Waves, here with some breaking news. That's right, breaking news. If you haven't paid attention, you haven't taken a look, the breaking news is that the Trump administration is going to partially fund SNAP benefits in November. But wait, there's more. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be celebrating. A lot of people are happy. They're going to hear the news. They're like, yay, they tapped into the contingency fund. The Trump administration is funding everything and everything is going to be all right. I don't have to go out and look for a job. I don't have to go hustle and cut hair or do nails. I don't have to cut grass. I don't have to get out there and apply for jobs. I could just sit on my behind and I'll get my SNAP benefits. Now, I'm talking about able bodies. Again, we've been through this a zillion times. And I shouldn't have to keep saying this, but you gotta say it because it's social media and people just don't seem to give you a break. We're not talking about military veterans. We're not talking about disabled people that have mental challenges, physical challenges. They literally just fell on hard times. They're seniors, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe, it's a first time, mom or something, and she's doing all she can. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the able-bodied people that have been crashing out on social media, that can work, that have the mental and physical capacity to get out here and work just like you and me. Those people think that now they have a pass because the Trump administration has allowed a partial funding of the SNAP benefits. And this is something that the Democrats bitched and complained. They called Trump, they called the Republicans all kinds of names, saying they're not doing this, doing that. You had people in the chat crashing out. I tell you, man, I got a live stream coming about that. Let's take a look at this video because a lot of y'all got to see that this is official. You know how it is. If people don't see an actual video proof or source, they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever. This is not legit. So we're gonna look at two sources. We're gonna start with a source that might lean more predominantly on the right and a source that might lean predominantly on the left. We're gonna look at both. So I don't want to hear any ignorant person in the chat coming in. You're playing this and you're playing that. Listen, man, I'm fair and balanced. How many times we got to go over this? So let's go ahead and get started.
It is day number 34 of the ongoing continuous government shutdown, on the brink of being the longest in U.S. history, but some movement in terms of SNAP benefits, as the Trump administration said on Monday that it will partially fund those SNAP benefits for so many millions of Americans after rulings by judges in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. You can see from the Associated Press saying the Trump administration says SNAP will be partially funded by the judge's ruling required the food aid program to continue.
And remember, President Trump said he wanted to do all he can to help get people fed. And you had Democrats crashing out. The Trump administration's not doing anything. They're not doing this. They're not touching this. Listen, y'all, I said this before. When it comes to money and it comes to accounting, you can't just touch money because it's there. You got to get legal approval. You got to know what's what. Because guess what? If Trump touched the money, and his administration touched the money, he didn't do it right legally, he didn't follow the proper steps, guess what? Every Democrat under the sun would be using it as an opportunity. Trump touched the money, and this is why we don't have money. See, listen, a lot of people are just like crash out experts, and they don't give you a break. So before Trump is going to put himself in a situation like that, he got to make sure legally he's doing what he's doing. This is the same thing that the Democrats was bitching and crying about. I want to know what their response is going to be after that. That's what I want to know. I want to see what the response is going to truly be. I want to know if they're still going to complain, or are they going to be like, well, we didn't expect Donald Trump to actually, allow the SNAP benefits in the Trump administration. Are they going to actually admit that, or are they just going to keep their mouth shut like they always do and be quiet and got nothing to say? Like have people in my chat are quiet. But let's go ahead and play the video. And by the way, you know what I'm saying, my wife just made this burger, fries, and once again, I got my Starburst. You know what I'm saying? Got my drink. Let's make America great again. Thank the Most High for this food. Hold on, let me pray over my food. So I'm gonna be eating on this live stream. And this ain't no SNAP benefits. This is hard-earned money. Let's go.
As the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees this supplemental nutrition assistance program, had planned to freeze payments starting November 1 because it said it could no longer keep funding it during the shutdown. The program serves 1 in 8 Americans, a major piece of the nation's social safety net. Let's be joined right now, Jeff Mulvihill from the Associated Press, covering this very closely. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What does this mean exactly, and how soon could people be seeing that money on their EBT cards?
I think everybody's figuring out exactly what it means, Andy. The ruling just came down today. The plan is for the federal government to provide some guidance for states later today on how to calculate the benefits, which will be around half of what they normally are. In the court filing, the Fed said that it could take weeks or even months to load up the cards because of the system changes and the calculations that states would have to make. We're still trying to figure that out.
I mean, look at this person in the chat. Look at this person in the chat. What is wrong with people? Somebody says, oh, please, you don't have to run it in for those who are not as fortunate. Listen, I get off my ass and I bust my ass and I work. What are you talking about fortunate? I earned the right. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. We're not talking about disabled. We're not talking about people that are unable, military vets, seniors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're talking about you got millions of able-bodied individuals who have the mental and physical capacity to work, but choose not to work and choose to freeload off the system. And they are impacted by SNAP. And some of them got children, got whole families, and they refuse to go work. I bust my ass every day. I go to work and I work here on social media, as well as a whole host of things. I work 7 days a week. How many days you work, Christine? I work 7 days a week. Do you work 7 days a week? I'm pretty sure you don't. I put in more hours than a lot of people on here, so I deserve to eat. I bust my ass to put food on my table. What are you talking about? Rubbing it in for people who is not as fortunate. Get your ass out there and work. Get a hustle, get a second job, do what you got to do. I know people working 2 and 3 jobs. They don't get no sleep. They don't be on social media. Why? Because they working. I got people that I know work 80 hours a week. Get out there and work. And then you got this person, most likely a liberal AF lefter, who's criticizing me because my wife fixed the damn meal after she came home from working. I'm working. She working. A lot of y'all are working. And then you got people like her that's criticizing you because you eating. And for people who say, I have no idea what's going on, shut the hell up. You have no idea what I've been through. I have been through pay cuts. I've been through being laid off. I have been through not knowing how to scramble with food, not knowing where I'm going to eat, not having a roof over my head. Y'all have no idea what I've been through. You got a lot of people that's in the chat talking and you don't know what I've been through. I busted my chops to get to where I am. And I'm going to continue to bust my chops. The problem is a lot of people are lazy. They refuse when they have opportunities. And we're talking about able bodies to work. They just want to bitch all day and complain. They want to criticize people like myself. Those of you that's in the chat that work every day. You work hard to get that house or get that apartment or wherever you stay. You work hard to get that car. You work hard to go to the grocery store and pay for your groceries. Cash money. You work hard for everything you got. And then people sit up there looking like, you don't understand. You don't know what it's like. No, you don't know what it's like. because you don't know what it's like to go from a situation and then get to a better situation. Because if you did, you wouldn't be complaining. I work 7 days a week. How many days a week do y'all work? Well, y'all in the chat fussing and complaining. I want to know, how many days a week do you work? Listen, I know people that's on Snap. I done seen people use the EBT cards. I get it. I understand. Do you understand? Don't get mad at me because you're lazy and you're an able body. You have the mental capacity, the physical capacity, but you just refuse to work. Don't get mad at me. Like I said, there's people that work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I mean, there's people working all around the clock. I work 7 days a week. A lot of y'all don't work at all. Y'all on YouTube bitching and complaining. Come on now. There's a lot of people in the chat that you're, by criticizing me, you're criticizing the majority of people in the chat. I'm pretty sure the majority of people in the chat bust their chops for what they have. They work hard. They grind. They deal with bullshit. They deal with criticism. They deal with all types of issues, stress, co-workers. You got to deal with the commute. You got to deal with weather, safety issues, all types of things. They got kids. You gotta leave work to go get to your children because your children acting up in school and they sick. Then you gotta take them to the doctor, take them to sports, take them to extracurricular. You gotta spend time with their homework, etc., 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 etc. And you got a bunch of people bitching in the chat talking about don't rub it in. I'm gonna eat, damn it. I work hard for this food. I'm gonna eat it in your face. I work 7 days a week, and I'm going to eat this in your face. I'm at work right now. When I could be off of YouTube, chilling, guess what? I'm working right now. When I come in on YouTube, I'm hitting the clock. I'm on the clock, and I'm still working. Y'all realize that I can eat and then come on. I got to report the news. I'm eating on the job, and you got people in the chat that's complaining. I guarantee you those people are lefters. I guarantee you they're a part of the Democratic Party. And they're miserable as hell, lazy as hell, and they want this. They want handouts. They want somebody, gimme. You're not giving me. Y'all mad. What, you want to take a bite of my burger? Go ahead, take a bite of it. Take a bite. You want some fries? Here, take a bite of my fries. Let me get you some ketchup. Here, take a bite. You need something to drink? Here, take a bit of my drink. Because a lot of y'all are just complaining. All y'all want is handouts. Let's play the video, man. Ain't got time for these lefters, man.
And see what states say. California told us it'd probably take them about a week from the time the money is available. Certainly, it means that people who rely on the program will have to look for ways to stretch their food money farther. We've already seen surges of demand at food banks. We're seeing states increase their contribution to food banks. A few states have tried to find ways to load up SNAP cards on their own.
Yeah, that is a very good point, and it is partially funded. Is that in part, at least potentially, because the shutdown could continue beyond even November?
No, the partial funding is because both judges said that the federal...
Let me say something, too, because I saw a comment in the chat I want to talk about. Shout out to Martin Alger. Is it Alger? He says, I worked for 35 years now on disability and stamps. Now, for people like Martin is disabled. Listen, I get tired of repeating this like a broken record, right? For people like Martin who are disabled, he's unable to work. Do you understand? I say this all the time. For people that are disabled, for people that are unable, they're physically unable. In this case, Martin is disabled. He's physically unable to get out there and get it. Okay? You have people that are mentally unable to get out there and get it. You have people that just literally was able and something happened and they fell on hard times. Maybe they got sick. Maybe they are becoming disabled. I don't know. There's all types of situations. You got the military vets. You got seniors. You got mothers and stuff like that who had their first child, and because now they have a child to take care, they fell below the poverty line or their income, took a hit because they got to raise a child, et cetera, et cetera. Those individuals we need to take care of. Those individuals need SNAP. When I talk about my talking points, I'm not talking about those individuals. We absolutely should take care of people like Martin, who is disabled, and those other situations that I described. But for all of you that are mentally able, you're physically able, you're in mental health, physical health, you have the strength, you have the know-how, you just choose to sit on your ass and be lazy and milk the system. Some of y'all are career SNAP benefit recipients. Your mama receives SNAP benefits. Your grandmama receives SNAP benefits. You just riding off the system. You say you're going to get SNAP benefits for life. I'm talking to people like you. People like that guy in that video. What did he say? He was like, I'm a boss. You're a taxpayer. You supposed to work for me. People like that. He said that in order for him to keep his SNAP benefits, he got to work 20 hours a week. That's it, 20 hours a week? You complaining about working 20 hours a week? What kind of sorry person complains about working 20 hours a week? You should want to better yourself, to invest in yourself, to contribute to society, to make a difference for someone else out there. I tell you, man, those are the individuals that I got an issue with, because y'all are really in sin and y'all are taxing the system. I'm gonna have to put this back up here while we play the video. Give me 1 second. Let's put this back up here. I'm gonna have to show y'all. Yes, I took it down. We're gonna talk about the 7 deadly sins. See this one right here in the middle that says sloth? That's the people that are able-bodied and they refuse to work. They're sloth. They're lazy. They're bitching and complaining on the internet, crying at me for eating a meal that I bust my ass, my wife busts her ass to earn, to get, like many of you here in the chat, and then they're complaining, you're eating, you're rubbing it in people's face. So what the hell am I supposed to do? I bust my ass 7 days a week. You expect me to starve because I work while you don't? And you're an able-bodied individual, able to work. You have the mental and physical capacity. And you expect me to starve? Man, y'all crazy, man. Let's play the video.
The government had to use one specific pot of money to fund the programs. The folks who sued, most Democratic states and some cities and nonprofits, said, look, there are some other pots of money that could also be used for this purpose. But the federal government said that it needs to make sure it has access to that money in case it needs it down the line.
And you mentioned that some states are trying to figure it out themselves, funding it in different ways, asking for donations of the kind. And of course, they said they didn't expect the federal government to reimburse them for trying to piecemeal some of these things together to feed people in their states. That is still accurate, correct? States won't be reimbursed for whatever they did to try to fund these SNAP benefits moving forward.
That seems to be the case. I mean, I guess that it's, lots of things could be negotiated, but certainly the federal government has been steadfast about that so far.
And what else can you tell us? Because obviously legal challenges by some 25 states. What other challenges might be out there? Are we expecting any rulings?
Sure. So, these are the only two major legal challenges that we're aware of so far. One filed by most Democratic-led states, the other by cities and nonprofit groups. The judges have spoken for now. It does seem like if the shutdown isn't resolved by the end of November, we could be back in exactly the same spot a month from now, but the funds that are being used would no longer be there.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point in terms of this, because there's so many different facets. This one we've latched on to because November 1 was the date for that. If it does continue on, will they have to find other places for this emergency funding?
They would, and there's kind of double speculation here if it continues on and what would happen then. But the federal government has said that there's not other funding that's available. So I imagine that if we get there, we'd probably see that argument made again.
Anything else, Jeff?
To the educated people in the chat, ignore the broke trolls. The broke trolls got a lot of stupid stuff to say. Like I said, I work for public safety in the school system. I've said this 1,000 times. You understand? I work for public safety in the school system. Woman Queen asked, do I know God? Absolutely. If you take a look at my channel, you would know that. You would know that. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, Christ, you know, his father. I absolutely know God. And I challenge a lot of my viewers to get to know God. Because the people that are talking ignorant are the people who don't have jobs. They're the ones that's hating on millionaires, billionaires, talking about they don't pay taxes, they don't do this. You're just mad because you're not successful. That's hater poverty speak. Listen, y'all. Anybody that's out there getting it, being successful, doesn't talk like that. They're congratulatory. A shout out to Forever Studios for the $20 super chat. He says, blessings at brainwaves. Facts. Let me see if I can find it on the screen. There's so many come. Here we go. Get that on the screen. All right. Anyone that is successful, that is striving to be successful, that is doing anything, it's not going to be sitting there being a hater, criticizing everybody. A lot of that, and I got another live stream coming up. That's what a lot of the Democrats do. They just sit around complaining all day, talking about what Trump is doing, talking about Trump building, redecorating the White House, but yet that was donors from his rich people. That doesn't come from the government money. Do y'all know that? Y'all think that Trump is knocking down the White House and redesigning it with the ballroom, and you think that money's coming out of taxpayer money? No. It's coming from his rich donors who want to see a ballroom that you probably will never go to because you're sitting around all day complaining. I can't stand people while you out there working, you washing your car, you going to work, you working with your family, you just doing anything, you're building something, you might be a content creator on social media, etc., etc. All they do is sit there and just bitch and complain about what you got. Oh, you driving a BMW, you probably a spoiled this, or you blah, 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 like you dressing it. Like, listen, man, people that sit around and complain, that's that broke poverty talk. Let's continue to play the article
that you're looking at in terms of this, because obviously still some concern and confusion over when exactly it goes into motion and people will be able to afford certain things. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that those, for the people who are the beneficiaries of the program, the timeline is really of essence. The federal government says that it'll make money available today, but that's only part of the process, right? That they still have to get the calculations to states, which happens today. States have to do some work. Some of it seems to be pretty technical. So how that shakes out for the people who rely on the program is the big thing we're watching.
Yeah, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it could be on Wednesday, and if it's kind of trying to find your next meal, that could be is obviously kind of concerning for you. All right, Jeff, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You're reporting. You're on Live Now.
All right, I'm about to switch to a Democratic news network for all the lefters that are mad because I'm playing a Fox News video. They're mad at me because I'm playing a Fox News video. So we're going to have to switch to a Democratic one. Okay. Give me 1 second.
We start this afternoon with breaking news in the...
Now, I'm playing CNN. Are you lefters, you're liberal AF lefters, are you happy now? Are you happy now that I'm playing something from CNN? I'm not showing Fox News, I'm showing CNN. This is your channel. Y'all watch CNN 24 hours a day. Some of y'all got OLED TVs. Some of y'all got burn-in on your OLED TVs because you play CNN all day. Them banners sitting up running across the screen, and you done burnt in your screen. You're like, what happened to my TV? What happened to my TV? Sir, ma'am, you're watching CNN all day, and the banners they burned in your OLED screen. Anyway, let's go.
A shutdown fight after two major legal decisions. The White House saying it will be providing some food stamp benefits this month. Only half, though, of what SNAP recipients usually see.
Those benefits are, of course, usually deposited into accounts on the first of the month and were skipped because of the shutdown. Two judges last Friday ruling that the White House must provide these benefits with money from a contingency fund. Let's go to CNN's Elena Treen, who is live at the White House. Elena, what are we learning here?
Yeah, well, what we're seeing now from these court rulings today is that the Trump administration will provide partial funding to continue one of the nation's largest, or I should say the largest, food stamp programs in the country. Now, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees the SNAP program, had initially said that they were going to be freezing the money that goes to SNAP, essentially, on November 1st. Of course, this comes during the government shutdown. They said they were running out of money, but because these two judges had ruled that the Trump administration had to keep this program going, now we're learning that they are going to, and they said in a sworn statement, the agency is going to use roughly $4.6 billion from a contingency fund to help keep this up and running. Now, $4.6 billion is only about half of the money that is needed to keep this operating full time. So we're still looking.
So if 4.6 billion with a B as in boy, as in Bobby, is only half of what it takes for SNAP, that's $9 billion a month. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, y'all. All those people. And this is what I want to know. You had Democrat supporters and Democrats pissed off. They was mad. Talking about Trump ain't gonna do nothing. He's not doing anything. Trump has been issuing nothing but statement after statement talking about, I'm willing to help. I want to help. I'll be glad to help. As soon as the meeting with the judges and stuff, the two judges, they said that he could do it. He's doing it. You would think Democrats would be happy right now in the chat. You would think they would be happy in the chat, but they still mad. See, that tells you that it's something fundamentally wrong because they point fingers and they blame, and then when they get the actual thing that they complaining about, they still mad and upset. And here's the thing is, it's only covering partial. It's not covering everybody. It's only covering partial, and the fact that it's only covering partial, there's going to be delays. It could take weeks or months to even get this partial fund. I tried to tell y'all about accounting. In my video yesterday, a lot of y'all have no comprehension of managerial accounting. And I understand you didn't go for school for it like I did. I graduated from college with degrees, multiple degrees with an S on accounting and business and all of that and marketing. So I went to school for this. While a lot of y'all may have went to school for other things, this is what I went to school for. You can't just touch money like that. I tried to tell y'all that. And it's not so simple. Now, because it's only roughly half, they got to figure out how to divvy that up. So you got to half to half. So if it takes $9 billion a month and they only got 4.6, let's just say 4.5. Y'all get the math basically, right? Let's keep it simple. That's half. Now you got to half that 4.6, right? Into like 2, maybe 2.2, 2.3-ish, and figure out how it's going to go to everybody. Because you're trying to figure out how to spread it, who to spread it to. You got to sit up there and do these calculations. Man, that's going to take forever. You have 42 million people on SNAP. That ain't no little quick calculation. And you know what's going to happen? I can guarantee you the Democrats are going to be bitching and complaining about that next. That's going to be the next set of videos that all the Democratic politicians, Trump, he's got the approval from the judges to issue the money, and he still hasn't issued the money. The states are waiting. People are hungry. They're waiting, and the Trump administration still hasn't issued. Watch what they're going to do, because they complain about everything. It's like you can't win, man. Let's play the video.
Looking at what this could mean once we hit that point. And to be clear, again, this is the nation's largest food program. It serves about 1 in 8 Americans, and of course is a major part of America's social safety net. And so this has been one of the key issues and concerns, really, as this government shutdown has continued. But now we're seeing they're going to pull on this contingency fund to at least pay for half of the money that they would normally during this time.
And Elena, during tomorrow's off-year elections, several key races could give us sort of a glimpse of how people feel about the economy and of course, the administration. New polling, though, shows that voters may not be impressed with President Trump. The data finds he's hitting his lowest approval rating this term, just 37%, his highest disapproval, matching January 2021.
Now, keep in mind, folks, we're watching a left news network, so of course they're going to take any opportunity they can to make Trump look bad. Any opportunity. This is what I'm saying. They were complaining, saying Trump need to release the funds. The funds are being released. You would think they would talk about the people, right? The conversation need to be about the people. Why are they talking about Trump's approval rating? Ain't nobody think about his approval rating right now. Folks think about getting fed. Folks think about putting food on their table. Folks like, I don't care nothing about no Trump's approval rating right now. I want my check. I need my money that I work for, working for the government or air traffic controllers or what, facet. I want my paycheck and I want my SNAP benefits. Ain't nobody think about the president's approval rating. But see, the left channel got to take any chance they can to take shots, to take digs, to keep that fresh in your mind. I can't stand Trump. Trump ain't doing a good job. So let me get this straight. Trump was criticized of not releasing the funds. He said he was going to release the funds multiple times. The judge approved it. 2 judges approved it. He's releasing the funds. And now y'all still got to talk about he ain't doing a good job? I mean, what do you expect him to do? He's just a president. Like, Trump is not God. Listen, a lot of y'all, man, need to get a personal relationship with Christ, man. I'm sorry. A lot of y'all need to pull a John 3:16 and have a personal relationship with Christ. Because God is supposed to be your provider, not the president, not the government, not man. God is supposed to be your provider. God is supposed to be your provider. I mean, it's just crazy. Let's go, man.
One, Democrats also showing a very early advantage when it comes to potentially flipping Congress in next year's midterms. What is behind these numbers?
Yeah, well, one of the really interesting things about all of this, Boris and Brianna, is that, White Houses normally shrug off these type of disapproval ratings, these poll numbers. But what we've seen the president do is actually entrench himself even deeper in some of the issues that this polling shows from CNN that Americans disagree with him on. For example, I would take immigration enforcement across the country. A majority of Americans, 57% in the CNN survey, said that they believe the Trump administration is going too far with its immigration enforcement. And the president was actually talking about this last night when he appeared on 60 Minutes for an interview with Norah O'Donnell.
I got an interesting live stream coming up, folks. I'm going to talk about this. The liberal left hates Christ. They hate God. They hate anyone that is a believer in God. They hate anyone who says that they believe in God. They discredit you when you say you believe in God. You'll say you believe in God, and then they turn around and discredit you. You don't believe in God, all while them not believing in God. We're going to talk about this. Shout out to Tech Tyranny. Also, shout out to Ham with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Ham. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting the work. Ham says, $186 billion was cut from SNAP in the big, beautiful bill. Politically, this shutdown highlights that issue. Did you support that cut? What would Jesus do? Well, let me make something clear. You have 42 million recipients of SNAP benefits. Do you honestly believe that the majority of those recipients are unable bodies? Meaning, out of that 42 million, do you believe that pretty much 40 million of them, for example, let's just put out a number. Do you actually believe that 40 million of these recipients are disabled, they're elderly, they're veterans from the wars? You know, they have some type of mental challenges where they're unable, they have mental disabilities where they're unable to work, et cetera, et cetera. Do you actually believe that 40 million of those people fit that description of the recipients? I don't believe that. I believe that the majority of people on SNAP are people that are able bodies, and they have learned how to manipulate the system. So when you put out statements such as 186 billion was cut from SNAP, it needs to be cut. Do you realize that we're paying out 9 billion? That's damn near 10 billion a month in SNAP benefits. Why are we paying almost $10 billion a month? You're talking about almost $120 billion a year. A year. Just to pay people to eat. Something is wrong with that. I mean, you got to think about that. That's a lot of money to pay people to eat. When you got able bodies, the majority of those recipients on SNAP are able bodies. Again, we're not talking about the people that are disabled, unable, et cetera, et cetera. The majority of the recipients on SNAP are able bodies. Whether they're white, whether they're black, whether they're green, whether they're blue, they're able bodies. A lot of them have another person or two that is living in their house under the radar. And that person may work. That person may also even be a recipient of SNAP. And they're hustling the system. They're gaming the system. These people take their SNAP benefits, flip it for money, use their EBT cards to make cash withdrawals, and they're just freeloading off of the system. And they figure, well, I got the money like this, I don't have to go out and work. A lot of the SNAP recipients pointed their fingers and laughed at people like me, who works a 9 to 5, as well as many other things like YouTube, for example. They laughed at a lot of y'all. Ha ha ha, I get to sit at home. I can eat more. I go grocery shopping. My cart's more full than yours. I'm spending more money than you. My nails are better than your nails. My hair is better than your hair. My car is better than your car. Come on. Right? We're not talking. Let me make this clear when I talk about the SNAP recipients. I'm not talking about people that have to be on SNAP, that fell below the poverty line, that are unable and fell on hard times. I keep seeing people talk about that. I already said we need to take care of those people. How many times I got to say this? The majority of people on SNAP are able bodies. They're able to go to school. They're able to get a job. They're able to get a promotion. They're able to get into things. They're able to start a business. Doesn't have to be a big business. You can start your own business. There's a lot of things that people can do. But guess what? They don't want to do that. They want to complain and stay there and be, oh, woe is me, and play the pity card. Play the sympathy card. Play the feel sorry for me card. We're not talking about the people that just cannot help themselves. Those people need a leg up. But guess what? That money got cut for that reason, because that's a lot of money. Do you realize how much money 9, let's put it, $9 billion a month is? Do you realize how much money that is? Well, we could put that money towards so many other things. Think about it. Then we got the whole medical situation. I'm telling you, man. And people have become accustomed and comfortable of the government taking care of them instead of them taking care of themselves. And for the people that are able to take care of themselves, we're getting judged. It's like it's backwards. The people that choose, and notice what I said, choose. Not the disabled, not people that are unable. I'm talking about able-bodied individuals. Some of y'all in the chat right now are able-bodied individuals. You're able to go to work. You're able to go to school. You're able to get a trade. You're able to get training. You're able to make money, but you choose not to. You rather criticize somebody like me who works 7 days a week. You criticize somebody like me who work. It's backwards. It's like the people that work, we're the ones getting criticized. The people that have busted their chops to get up off of Snap. There are many people that was on Snap and got up off of it. It's not meant to provide for you indefinitely. It's meant to supplement your nutrition. It's supplemental. Do y'all know what the word supplement means? It doesn't say provide for you. It's supplement. Especially if you're able. And a lot of y'all are just in the chat just losing it, man. I guarantee you, the people that's losing it, they on the left. It's tired, man. Like, people are tired of hearing it. Let's play the video.
And he said, actually, that he believes his administration is not going far enough. Of course, this comes, as we know, there's been a lot of uptick and criticism over the way that ICE has been handling some of these.
Let me make something clear. You got somebody by the name of Creambull Larry or whatever says work 7 days a week. Ha, ha, ha. That stinks. No, I enjoy what I do. What stinks is you sitting there being on a Snap and you're being lazy and unwilling to work. You see, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy what I do during the day. I enjoy what I do in the evening. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy coming here on social media. I enjoy coming here on YouTube. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, see, this is the same thing. You got politicians like, I come to the office while the government is shut down and everything is closed. I showed up at the office. So let me get this straight. When you work because you want to, let me make something clear to you. I don't have to work 7 days a week. I choose to work 7 days a week because I'm not lazy like many of y'all that are freeloaders off of the system. I'm not lazy like y'all. So if I need to work 7 days because I'm working on a project, I'm working on things, then that's what it is. If I want to take time off, I take time off. I do as I please because I worked to put myself in that position. I choose to work 7 days a week. And see, this is the thing. We got to stop having this poverty mindset. You got people that are working and they are taking jobs that don't pay. They're taking dead-end jobs. And guess what? They're not trying to go to school. They're not trying to get a trade. They're not going through training. They're not trying to find positions that will be better for them. Some of them might need to start their own business. Some of y'all have talents, but y'all too lazy to get up off of your rear end and actually work your talents that God gave you. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all don't believe in God. So God didn't give you those talents, right? God didn't give you the talents because you don't believe in God. Listen, we're not talking about people who fail on short-term situations. We're talking about the career people who just said, I'm going to get SNAP benefits for life. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I guess shout out to Ham again with the $5 super chat again. Thank you for supporting the show. He says majority don't get paid enough to support the prices for housing, energy, and etc. due to low wages. 50% of those able to work do. Here's the thing. Let me break something down. You don't think that I'm not affected by the cost, by inflation, by everything? You don't think that I am not affected by it? Everybody is affected by the rising costs. This is exactly what I'm saying. So if you're in a household and you're in a situation where you're affected by the rising costs and your situation's not working, you're going to have to figure out something to do. Maybe you might need to cut your Netflix subscription or cut all your TV subscriptions down. Maybe you might need to trim your cell phone down. Maybe you need to stop eating out. Maybe you have to sell your car. Maybe you'll have to take Uber and Lyft public transportation or whatever it is. Listen, there's things that can be done. The question is, are you willing to make those sacrifices? Maybe you need to further your education if that would bring in some more income. Maybe you need to go through training. Maybe you need to talk to somebody who's in a better situation than you, who's been trying to lend a helping hand, but you've been refusing to listen to them and receive their help. See, what this situation is doing with the government shutdown is putting people in a situation where they got to start relying on the government. You're supposed to be relying on God, not relying on the government. For years, people have relied on the government, all while claiming, yeah, I praise God. God is my provider. It's been the government. You've been relying on the government, and now the government has let you down and let people down. And for you, I'm going to time you out. But this person named Lords, you demon, I rebuke you in Christ's name. Talk about stop bringing God to your argument. How about you just go back where you came from, you demon? I'm a believer in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm not going to cower down and stop on my own platform what I believe in just because of some demon like you. I'm pretty sure you're a demon rat. You're probably a liberal lefter who don't believe in God, who probably believes in anti-LaVey and New Age and all these new spiritual practices and just want to do as thine willest and want to bitch and complain and see no wrong with it. See, it's people like that that's on demon time, that's on sin, is a cancer to society. Because what people like that do, they keep the other people that are looking for encouragement, looking for edification, looking for somebody to speak life into them. They don't receive it because they listen to people like Lords. And it's a lot of them. I'm going to do a whole stream about it. Come on now. Now listen, a lot of people are mad at the rich. Yvonne, let me ask you a question. Why are you so mad at the rich? Why are you mad at somebody that's successful? Do you understand that the ultra rich are creating jobs for people, the same citizens that you claim are working and paying taxes? If they didn't establish what they established, those citizens that you say are working and paying taxes would not have a place to work and would not be able to pay any taxes. What are you creating for society? You do understand that there are tax breaks for companies. Like, what is wrong with people? There are incentives, there are tax breaks to get people to come to their particular states, to build here, to do this. That's like with the whole tariff conversation. The whole thing is to get everybody to support America. You know what, man? It's a conversation. You know what? I'm wasting my time because that's a broke mentality. Broke people who want to stay broke, who don't want to get up off of their behind and get out of their situation of being broke, all they do is complain when they see somebody more successful. They complain on what they got. How did you get your car? How come you're not paying interest rates like somebody else that got to work? They got to pay 26% and you finance your car and you're paying 0% or 1% or whatever it is. I'm mad at you because you don't pay any percentage. Wah, wah, wah. How did you get your house with that interest rate? When I got my house, I had to do this and I had to do that. You got this person that says, broke people stream live. Yeah, and you watching a broke person streaming live. Look how stupid you sound, John E. Other side. If I'm so broke, why you watching me? I ain't watching you, you watching me. John, you call yourself watching a broke person. You're watching a broke person, John. That's what you claim. You see how silly y'all look? You see how silly y'all look? Let's play the video. Because, I'm playing it from the left. This is what the left was. They want to see CNN where they bash Trump all day and they bash the Republicans. Let's see what other part they about to say when they go bash the Republicans and bash Trump. Let's go.
Procedures including breaking glass as they try to get into cards, their use of tear gas, the list goes on. So that's one area where we saw the president really dig in. Another is the government shutdown. We're seeing in these polls that Republicans and the president are taking a lot of the blame, facing a lot of the political heat on this. But the president is still digging himself in deeper, saying it's up to the Democrats to open this. And he even brought up the idea of getting rid of the filibuster, essentially eradicating this precedent and trying to end the shutdown without any Democratic support. And so as we look at these numbers, 63% disapproval, you mentioned it, but that is a higher disapproval rating than he did have actually when he left office during his first term.
Elena Train, live force at the White House. Thank you so much.
New today, the Trump administration says it will tap into a contingency fund to pay 50% of food stamp benefits in November. Last week, 2 federal judges ordered the administration to use those emergency funds for roughly
I want to comment on this real quick. Yeah. ADHD Everything says, I thought they was going to be stealing food. We're going to have to talk about that. Where's all the people that said come November 1st, if they EBT card ain't working, which is not, they was going to be stealing food. Where's all the people? It was a bunch of videos. A ton of people said they was going to be stealing. You better get out my way. Don't try to stop me. And even for people in the parking lots, they going to go rob you. Where's all those people? What happened to them? Where are they at? How come they not making videos? We're going to have to talk about that coming up.
42 million SNAP recipients. But now there are significant questions about when the payments will go out. In today's court filing, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said, quote, for at least some states, USDA's understanding is that the system changes states must implement to provide the reduced benefit amounts will take anywhere from a few weeks to up to several months. With us now to discuss, we have Democratic Congresswoman Sarah McBride of Delaware. Congresswoman, that is a dire warning there. First off, do you think this shutdown could go through Thanksgiving?
Well, I certainly hope not. I am down in Washington, D.C. Today and this week, ready to work with colleagues to reopen government to solve this healthcare crisis and to guarantee that there are not disruptions in critical programs like SNAP. Unfortunately, congressional Republicans continue to be on vacation. They are nowhere to be seen. I hope we can reopen government before Thanksgiving. I hope we reopen government tomorrow and do so in a bipartisan and compassionate way.
Let me make something clear. If they don't open the government, this little bitty half or whatever getting first of all, it's already half. It's not going to make much of a difference. Shout out to Dr. Pat. She says, I was hoping they didn't give them so I can watch them up around and find out. You can't take what's not yours. Well, Dr. Pat, hold on, because we still got a lot of time. Let me tell you something. We're already in one of those 2 weeks worth of SNAP benefits. It's going to be this week and next week. That's it. For some of the states, it could take weeks or months for them to even determine how they're going to pay this out. See, these are the logistics. A lot of y'all don't even know what the word logistics mean. Some of y'all do. Some of y'all that went over your head. When the Democrats was complaining, talking about they need to take the money from the contingency fund, the money's there, the money's there. Y'all see the videos, y'all heard it. Y'all were reciting like parents. This is crazy. The exact same rhetoric y'all was reciting. Now we're tapping into the money, and now we don't even know how long and when it's going to get doled out. So it's almost like they're tapping into the money, but the money is not even getting doled out in time. And then we're going to deal with this situation in another week. So after this week, we got one more week, and then we're going to be right, come to 15, we right back at it. If the government's not open, we right back at it. What are people going to do? Are you going to sit around and wait on the government? Or are you going to actually make decisions for your household, especially those of you that got like kids and you're on Snap? Listen, in 2025, going on 2026, don't tell me there's not a way for somebody to make money. I mean, you can make money online. You can make money offline. There's so many different programs. There's different ways. There are so many ways to make money to supplement your food income. Why aren't people trying to utilize this? Some of y'all can come on social media yourselves. A lot of people have gifts and talents that God gave them. I know y'all don't want to acknowledge the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but God gave you those talents, and you don't even want to use them. You just rather be a freeloader and sit back and complain. Well, I can't do nothing. I'm not this and I'm not that. You've been getting around the wrong people. You've been listening to the wrong people. Some of y'all need to get away from certain people and get around more positive people. People that's going to support you. People that'll push you. People that will stand behind you and allow you to get to the next level. Listen, you don't get to the next level in anything being around people that just got a low poverty, broke mentality, who doesn't want any more for themselves, who are comfortable staying on the bottom level. No one gets to the next level in anything. Sometimes you just got to get away from certain people. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of people on social media. Just look at my chat, for example, who have that mindset, who don't want more. They're complaining. They want the government to be their mommy, government to be their daddy, government to be their boyfriend and their husband. Gimme. I want. But you don't want to contribute to society. Y'all don't want to take the opportunity to figure something out or how you can contribute. And we're talking about the able-bodied individuals. Again, like a broken record, if you're unable, we absolutely need to take care and feed those people. And what I believe is that if we focus on feeding, getting rid of the people who are able bodies and they're able to work, and that's what the SNAP benefits changed. Y'all do know on the 1st or Saturday, the SNAP benefit requirements changed. So now people got to work. They got to prove it. They got to prove that they're in school. They changed the time limit. They allow mothers. I think they cover your child up to 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. There's different requirements. So a lot of people are going to lose SNAP anyway. And I know people are going to complain. They're losing SNAP. That's what the Democrats going to say. The Trump administration, Trump is kicking people off of this. Listen, man, we got to cut this sin, man. No more sloth. No more laziness of just sitting around. We're not in that situation. We got to pull our weight. We got to pull our weight. For all the able-bodied people, we got to pull our weight. Let's go.
While I'm glad that we will see at least some federal funding move forward during this shutdown for SNAP, this was a choice that Donald Trump made, that Republicans made, to call into question this life-saving benefit. And they are now only partially moving forward with funding because their hands have been forced by the courts. The cruelty has been the point throughout this for Donald Trump and congressional Republicans. We continue to be ready to reopen government as soon as humanly possible so federal workers get paid, so that SNAP and other benefits aren't disrupted, and to do so in a way that solves this healthcare crisis that my constituents are already seeing skyrocketing premiums from.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because at this point, open enrollment is
Man, see, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this person right here. I guarantee you Bella R is a part of the liberal AF left. She's not a Trump supporter. She's not a Republican. She's not an independent. I can guarantee you she's on the left. She says ninja. She's calling me a ninja. I'm a married man, father, very well respected in the community, business owner. I'm employed, etc., etc., etc. Ain't got no criminal background, none of that stuff, but she's calling me a ninja. No, maybe you're the ninja. Let's check your background out, Bella. Says that ninja, people are not being paid a fair wage. Whose fault is that? So you're blaming me for the wages that someone decided to go work and take. What do I got to do with that? I wasn't around them. I wasn't sitting around them when I say, hey, yeah, go work for that job. Go work for fast food. Go work for retail. Go do this. Listen, I work for fast food. I work for retail. I work for so many different jobs and industry, it'll make your head spin. I have experience from so many different industries. Right? That's not my fault that somebody chose to take a particular job position. I wasn't there. I don't know them. I got no say in what position they take. If they're not being paid a fair wage, then they need to put themselves in a situation to where they are. For some of you, that might be entrepreneurship. But y'all not hearing me. She says, people like me is what makes America horrible. Okay. Says, I am an awful person and I will feel the wrath of God. No, I rebuke that curse that you try to put on me in Christ's name. We rebuke all that in Jesus' name. Ain't no wrath coming upon me. A lot of people that have been in sin, speaking of wrath, let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. And I'm going to get to Dr. Pat's super chat. A lot of people have been in sin. They've been lazy. They've been stealing from the system. They've been freeloading, etc., etc., etc. Right? It's pay up time. And this is what they're mad. They're upset. The ride is over. The free time is over. And now they got to pay up. And that's what they're pissed off with. Let me see if I can get to that super chat. There we go. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. All right. Dr. Pat, thank you for your super chat. I greatly appreciate it. She says, who should be reasonable for feeding the seeds you produce? Oh, you can't protest no kings, but ask the king to take care of your kids. Wow. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to follow right up with this. Hold on. All right, y'all. My apologies. Had to take care some family business. All right. So back to the super chat. Dr. Pat says, who should be reasonable for feeding the seeds you produce? If you produce the seeds, then you're responsible for it. You have a lot of people that say that we, the people, should take care of another person's kids because they decided to have 20 children. Whose decision was it to have 20 children? It was your decision. So if you decided to have 20 children, for example, then it is your responsibility to make sure that those 20 children are fed. Is it fair to put the responsibility for you deciding to have 20 children on the people that you don't know, people that didn't have any say in that decision? I mean, you want the government, you want the taxpayers to pay for you, and they don't even know you. They weren't around. Just like the person in the chat earlier. They came in and they said that, well, you know, there's people that they barely can afford a working class wage and all of that. You act like I'm sitting around all these people and I'm telling them what jobs to take and what not jobs to take. That was a decision that they made. They're choosing to be in a situation. And if you're in a situation that's not working for you, then now is the time for you to work towards something that will work for you. You can't blame people that made decisions and put in the blood, sweat, and tears, the time and the effort when they finally got to where they needed to get to. You don't know the sacrifice that people made. There's people in the chat that don't know the sacrifice that I made to get to where I'm at. And I'm still not where I want to be. I'm in a good situation, but I'm not done. I'm still working to progress forward. And you got people that criticize you for working to do that. Whoever produces the seeds, they are responsible. That person, meaning the guy and the gal, whoever laid down or went to the sperm bank or whatever it is, whatever parties got involved to produce that child or those children, they are responsible for feeding it. Not the federal government, not SNAP, especially if they're able bodies. And we're saying this based upon people being able bodies. We're not talking about people that fell on hard times. Let's not throw individuals that meet that criteria into this conversation because that's a given. We already know they're unable to. I mean, you got to stop and think. Food prices are high for everybody. Bills are high for everything. Netflix is high. Disney's high. Hulu's high. Paramount's high. Peacock's high. All the streaming apps high. You go to the movie theater, you spend $100 for nothing. Food is high. You eat out, you get one combo, one fast food combo, damn near costs you like $25, $30. And that's just one. And depending on where you eat, it will cost you $25, $30 if you get it the way you like it. One combo gonna cost you $25, $30. You got to get it for somebody else. And if you got them kids, you know them kids want to eat. That's just eating one time. Groceries. Everything is through the roof. We understand. People are acting like those of us that are able to pay out our own pockets, like we don't feel this, like we don't got to go through this, like we don't have to deal with this. When we got to buy electronics, we got to pay the price too. When we need to buy automobiles, we pay the price too. It's like people acting like, well, you know, they're okay, or they're rich, or they're able to provide on their own. They don't need SNAP. You act like we ain't got to pay. I mean, those of you that been on SNAP, y'all been immune to what those of us that don't get SNAP have to deal with. We don't have no government, nothing to supplement our income. There are millions of people that go out and work. And if they don't work and whatever they make, they don't eat. They got no SNAP. They don't qualify for SNAP. They got to determine, do I get my car repossessed? Do I get behind on my bills and F up my credit that much more? Do I worry about my mortgage defaulting, or I'm getting kicked out with my rent? Do I got to worry about my lights or my heat getting turned off in winter just so I can put food on the table? Do I lose this? Do I lose that? We don't get SNAP. I think a lot of people that have been lazy and been conditioned to be on SNAP have forgotten how hard it is for those of us that got to work who don't get nothing. If we don't do what we got to do, we don't eat, period. There is no federal money coming in to feed us. We just simply don't eat. We simply starve. There are people that work that make good money. There are people that make 6 figures and they're struggling to put food on the table. More money, more problems. But these liberal left demon rats don't seem to understand that particular conversation. Dr. Pat says you can't protest no kings, but ask the king to take care of your kids. Exactly. How is the liberal AFers out there, the ones that's way out on the left, bitching and complaining, moaning and growing, crying and whining all the time? How are they going to be like, well, you know, we don't want to stand in support of Trump. We can't stand Trump. We hate Trump. But now you putting pressure on Trump to actually get SNAP benefits. How you going to say he don't need to do anything, but now you putting on pressure on him to do anything? You can't, I'm telling you, y'all, you can't win with these people. They're narcissistic. Listen, I got a whole live stream I'm about to do. I might literally do it as soon as I get done with this. I think I'm going to literally probably jump into it as soon as I get done with this. And Dr. Pat, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. I hope that you are a subscriber to my channel so that you know when I go live. I would definitely like to see your comments here and see your participation here more often. Feel free to come through, Dr. Pat. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and continue to play this particular video. You know, I started out with Fox News. You know, they be like, oh, you're Trump, you're this and this and that. Now I'm playing CNN and they still not happy. You cannot, listen, there's some people you just cannot please. I'm playing CNN, the news network of their choice, and they're still not happy. Let's go.
Underway now. So people signing up for ACA open enrollment is starting to see what insurance costs without the tax credit. As you are relying on pressure from those folks as they make their voices heard, how long does that take? And what if that isn't enough?
Well, I'm already hearing from constituents. I've been hearing from constituents throughout this shutdown that they want to see government open and they want to see us extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Over this last weekend, millions and millions of Americans went on to healthcare.gov and started to see premiums that in some cases were increasing 100, 200, 300%. And it's incumbent upon those Americans to reach out to their members of Congress to express their outrage at these skyrocketing premiums and to demand that Democrats and Republicans work together to reopen government and extend these ACA premiums. The Republicans have acknowledged that this is an issue. We have even very far right-wing colleagues in the House admitting that this is an issue. I think that's...
Let me say this real quick. You got somebody in the chat by the name of Brian, right? This person here says that I need to move on to a new topic, right? How about we do this? How about I move you on to an entire new channel? Congratulations, Brian. Everybody congratulate Brian McCartney. He's gotten on the block list. He'll probably come back with 1,000 troll accounts. You blocked me. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure that that's what he's going to do. Pretty sure that that's what he's going to do because that's what they usually do. Let me see something here. Telling me to move on. This is my channel. I move on when I see fit. Come on. Y'all got to stop and think. This is my channel. Y'all are watching me. I'm not watching y'all. Y'all are on my channel. I run my show as I see fit. That's like me. That's like somebody coming to your house and telling you how you need to run your house or your apartment wherever you stay. You run your house or your apartment wherever you stay as you see fit. Who does somebody who don't even know you look like coming in there telling you how to run it? I tell you, man, people wild, man. Let's go.
That's only going to increase as Americans lift their voices. But Republicans ultimately are going to have to listen to the American people and join Democrats at the negotiating tables to solve this crisis. Look, it's on.
Listen, now they keep saying it's on Republicans. Republicans have submitted a clean bill 14 times, a bipartisan bill that Democrats agree with all these points, and the Democrats rejected it. And now you got this Democratic representative here. This is how they do. She's a Democratic representative. She's like, Republicans need to come to the table. They came to the table 14 times. To all you Democrats out here, what kind of bills have you submitted? You ain't been submitted no bills. You still just trying to push health care and that's it. You have not submitted any clean bills. You want that bloatware health care bill. That's all you want to open the government. The Republicans submitted 14 times a clean bill, bipartisan, that Democrats agree with, and the Democrats rejected it 14 times. 14 times. 14 times. But you know, I expect this rhetoric coming from these Democrats. I expect it. It's the Republicans' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go.
Republicans to figure this out. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
No, but let me.
And so I'm not going to sit here
But you're in the House,
yeah.
but you know in the Senate, there's a 60-vote threshold. The president is calling for that, the nuclear option, to get rid of that. And I hear you say, you're saying Republicans are making a choice. Democrats are also making a choice.
Thank you. Why is it always one-sided? It's like when it comes to, listen, when you call the Democrats out, man, it's like they don't want to acknowledge nothing. Look, watch this. Watch this, y'all. This person by the name of Professor Plum says, are you seriously this stupid? Let me show you how stupid I am. Congratulations, Professor Plum. You have gotten yourself a one-way ticket to the resort of Brainwaves Advice Topics, LLC block list, where you can never comment, leave anything, and participate in any live stream. This is valued at over whatever price that you want to put on it. Congratulations. You've gotten yourself on a block list. That's right. That's probably that same person that I blocked earlier, and he probably came back in a troll account. Because that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. That's what they do. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue with the stream.
And it has to do with these Medicaid cuts, and it has to do with these ACA subsidies, yes, but it is also a choice, right? And CNN has polling out today that shows 58% of Americans are disapproving of, yes, Republican congressional leaders, how they're handling this, but 58% are disapproving of how Democratic congressional leaders are handling it.
So how come we don't see enough of these poll results being put out? Why is it that Democrats only want to put out that people are disapproving of how the GOP is handling things, but yet they don't want to put out the numbers to show that people are feeling the same thing? If you pretty much look at the percentages, everything is just straight down the middle. It's like exactly the same for the most part. They're not talking about how people disapprove of how the Democratic congressional leaders are handling this situation with the government shutdown. They just trying to say, oh, everybody's mad at the Republicans. They're mad at the Republicans. They're mad at the Republicans. But they don't talk about how people are upset with them too. They want to make it seem like they're not doing anything. I'm telling you, man, this is crazy. Anyway, let's go.
61% disapproving of how President Trump is handling it. So all of you being held to account here, what is your read of what that poll is saying?
No one wants a shutdown. That's what that poll is saying. And time again, Senate Democrats have voted for a continuing resolution that opens government and solves this healthcare crisis.
How is it time and time again the Senate Democrats have voted on a resolution? The only thing that the Senate Democrats have voted on is the resolution that contains the health care bill. That is bloatware. That is the issue that led to the government shutdown in the first place. The Democrats have not voted on a clean bipartisan bill yet. The Republicans have voted 14 times on a bipartisan bill, a clean one, points that the Democrats agree on to open the government, get people fed, get people paid, et cetera, get things back running. And then we got time to figure this out. Do you think the Democrats want to go on that? No, they want to keep the government shut down. They have not proposed a clean bill. They're still proposing the health care bill. Show me where the Democrats have proposed a clean bill without health care. They have not, because they keep standing on this point. We got to get health care. We got to get health care. We're standing on this point. But they want to blame the Republicans when the Republicans cut out everything that they could have asked for, and they say, hey, this is a bipartisan bill that the Democrats agree on, us Republicans agree on. This will be the vital services and functioning that we need, the money, the resources, everything we need to open the government back up and get the things funded that are vital. And then we got time to negotiate all of this. And you wonder why the government is closed down. You wonder why the government's closed down.
Republicans have chosen to vote against that. They have every opportunity to work with us to do both of these things. And they know that we do not have the luxury of waiting. As you mentioned, open enrollment started on the 1st.
So if we don't have the luxury of waiting, why has the Democrats rejected points that they agree with 14 times? I mean, this is what I want to hear from all of you liberal lefters who keep saying, I'm wrong, I'm this, I'm that, etc. Why have the Democrats have not proposed a clean bill that does not include health care just to open the government? I'm pretty certain if the Democrats propose a clean bill that doesn't include the whole health care debate, I'm pretty sure the Republicans will sign it and the government will be back open. But you know what? They don't want to agree to that. So the Republicans have done it 14 times as of this weekend. And do you think the Democrats signed it? No, that's why the government's still shut down. And I wonder how long this is going to take. I really want to know. And then people thinking that Trump can do something about this. Y'all, that's not how Congress works. This has to be voted on. 53 votes, Republicans control the majority, but they don't control all. You need 60. The Democrats refuse to put in their votes to get a clean resolution bill passed, so we have time to negotiate on the health care. They don't want to do that. And they have not submitted a clean bill on their own that doesn't include health care. A clean bipartisan bill that everybody agrees on so we can open this thing back up. It don't look like we're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And they trying to, and you know, that's that narcissistic speak where you're the one guilty of doing something, but you project your own sins, you project your own guilt and your own issues on somebody that's innocent, that's not doing the things that you're trying to project on them. I tell you, man.
There's not the luxury of time here, and Republicans need to wake up to that fact. But I think the reality is no one wants a shutdown. Democrats don't want to shut down. The American people don't want to shut down. We also don't want to see healthcare premiums skyrocket. And Republicans are so committed to healthcare being cut that they are willing to resist any kind of negotiation, and they are willing to subject this country to a shutdown because they don't want to protect healthcare.
Listen, when they talk about protecting healthcare, they're trying to make it seem like it's healthcare for every single person under the sun. It's not. It's only health care for people who qualify under the Affordable Care Act. It's not health care for every citizen in the United States. Democrats, can you do me a favor? Please stop trying to make it sound like it's health care for every single person under the sun in the United States, because it's not. It's only for people who are under the Affordable Care Act. Some of y'all call it Obamacare. It's not for people who work jobs, they got health care, they're self-employed, they got health care going, et cetera, et cetera. It's for people under the Affordable Care Act. Stop trying to make it seem like it's everybody. This is crazy, man. I get so sick and tired of Democrats trying to deceive people into thinking that, oh, it's going to affect your health care, that you work a job and I work a job and other people work jobs, and it's going to affect all of our health cares. Those are premiums for people under the Affordable Care Act. And remember, these were the same premiums that when Obama put this into practice, we were told the premiums under the Affordable Care Act would go down. And what has happened? They have done nothing but gone up, including right now. They're wanting us to continue to push it up, which just adds more to the debt, creates more of an issue. It actually causes premiums across the whole industry to go up. Then people like you, people like me that actually work jobs, that actually bust our tails. Guess what? Our yearly annual premiums end up rising because we're covering the cost of people under the Affordable Care Act. I mean, that's a simple version of it. I really don't want to get into the complex version. That's just a simple breakdown of it. It's way more deep than that. But I'm not trying to take that kind of time on this show. It's like, when are the Democrats going to actually stop making it seem like it's health care for everybody? Like, everybody like that has a job and do this, like, we're going to lose health care. Look, our premiums are already locked in for the year. We voted on this in terms of making our elections, et cetera, et cetera. Our health care is locked in. They're not going up. Our co-pays, all that stuff is set. This is crazy, man. But anyway, let's go.
That's the reality of it, and that's the choice that they're making.
But isn't it also true that Democrats don't want those cuts, and so they are willing to subject the country to a shutdown as well? I mean, this is a choice about different priorities, different values, but it requires the votes of both parties.
It's a false choice to have to choose between keeping government open and solving this healthcare crisis. We're choosing to fight for both. Republicans are choosing to fight for only one. And the reality is if they want the votes necessary to pass a resolution, they have to work with Democrats or go the president's route with the nuclear option of eliminating the filibuster. They have a choice on how they want to pursue the path forward on that. But if they want votes to have a continuing resolution, they're going to have to work with Democrats. That's the reality of democracy. That's the reality of representative.
But listen, here's the thing. The whole issue is health care. The Republicans said they're willing to work with the Democrats, but they don't have time right now to be sitting here trying to figure out something that might take months to come to some type of agreement over. So let's open the government, keep things running as it is, keep the Affordable Care Act in place as it is until we can figure out some type of resolution. I don't understand what's wrong with that. I don't understand why the Democrats refuse to do just that. The Republicans have said, we understand, we hear you. Let's open the government up and let's work this out. Let's leave the Affordable Care Act in place as it is. Let people still have their coverage, but yet the Democrats not willing to do that. They don't want to do that. They want all or nothing. They's like, nope, we ain't doing that. You're going to give us what we want. And then they talking about having to come to the table and negotiate. That ain't no damn negotiation. That's a takeover. The Democrats want to completely take over and call all the shots. No, you're going to do this with healthcare. You're going to do this. This is how we're going to have it. I have not heard any negotiation points as it relates to healthcare from the Democrats. All I heard them say is, this is what we got to have. This is what we got to have. This is what we got to have. I've heard no compromise and I heard no negotiation. I heard no willing to do so. I just hear a bunch of finger pointing. That's all they doing, man. It's crazy, man.
Government, that's the reality of the United States Senate, and they are putting forward to the American people a false choice. We are saying we can do both and we have to do both. That's the choice we are making.
It is obviously such a crucial time right now in the shutdown, and we appreciate you being with us, Congresswoman Sarah McBride. Thank you.
This is crazy, y'all. I tell you, man. So look, let me just say this. I'm probably going to turn right back around. I'm going to go live. I got an interesting live that's coming. I'm going to talk especially about all the lefters. I'm literally going to go live. Like, I'm going to end this live and I'm going to turn back around within 5 minutes and go live. I'm just going to keep this thing going. It's clear hearing the rhetoric that I keep hearing out of the Democrats and stuff like this, with the Republicans issuing a bipartisan clean bill that both sides agree on, and it's still not being voted on. I mean, what do you expect? They've done it 14 times. What they got to do it 400 more times and they still get rejected? This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy. To all of you that have some type of common sense in the chat, ignore the broke people speaking, ignore the poverty mindset people speaking, ignore the crazy liberals speaking, ignore the people who don't believe in God. They don't believe in American values. They want to destroy the American values. They want to tear everything up. They just want to do whatever the hell they want. That's how they talk. They say what they want. They do what they want. They don't want no restrictions. That's why they complaining now. Under Trump, when this passed, then it's going to be a restriction for this and a restriction for that. Now I can't do anything. Wow, grow up. I think you didn't learn that there's rules and limitations when you went to school. Did you even go to school? Did you even go to preschool? Did you go to kindergarten and pre-K and all of that? Did you even make it through K through 5, let alone 6 through 8, let alone 9 through 12? Let alone college, let alone graduate, let alone doctorate, let alone masters? Did you make it through any of that? It's pretty clear, man. A lot of these people, man, I'm telling you, it's wild. It is absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah, we got Nora. What's up, Nora E? Nora E says you could tell half of these people have no idea what they're talking about. They don't. Nora, I mean, I appreciate you, Nora. That's one of the realest comments, man. Shout out to Nora E. Nora E in the building with one of the most realest comments. She said you could tell half these people have no clue what they're talking about, and they insult those that actually have knowledge about what's going on, and you wonder why people can't get nowhere. You wonder why people are stuck in the same situations. I tell you, man. So what I'm about to do is make sure you double tap the screen on your way out. I appreciate those of you that did that. Shout out to my new subscribers, especially all the people that support it. Forever Studios. I know Dr. Pat. And it was one other guy. I can't. It's so many comments. It won't even let me scroll up right now. I have to go back and look on the reply. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to, Nora E. Nora E in the building. Bringing some intelligence, man. Shout out to all of y'all bringing out some intelligence, man. Like, for real. What I'm about to do is I'm about to talk about a subject, and part of it is what we seen in the chat. I'm going to end up ending this live stream, and I'm literally going to turn back around in about 5 minutes and go back live. I don't know if notifications are going to go out. I don't know if they will. But if you don't plan on coming back, there's many ways to support the platform. Make sure you double tap the screen, get the likes up. You can subscribe. That's a way to support. You can hype the video up. I have a membership that you can join. My members keep the lights on. Shout out to my members. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all. I also have a PayPal. I have a Venmo that's at the top of the screen and in the description box of every video and live stream. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. A lot of people, again, that are broke are going to say things, and I'm about to address something. For all of you that want to see something, I'm about to just literally do a live. And when you see the thumbnail and when you see the title, you're going to be like, yes, I'm glad he did it. So with that being said, to anybody with intelligence, shout out to you. Anybody that takes these things seriously, shout out to you. To the people that are unable Again, our mothers that found themselves in a situation, maybe the dad left and it's just her and her child or her children, and now because of her financial situation it put a strain and she has to receive SNAP. Shout out to you. I hope your situation gets better, and I hope that you're able to get up out of that situation. In the meantime, you need your SNAP benefits. Let's hope women like her or dads in that same type of situation can get their SNAP benefits. To our veterans, let's hope they get their SNAP benefits. To our seniors, I hope that they get their SNAP benefits and can continue to get eat. I hope that there's a priority in how this money is doled out, and I hope it just somehow they make a way that it goes to those people first. To our people who are mentally unable, they just do not have the mental capacity to work a job. Maybe they got injured. I hope that they continue to receive their SNAP benefits. To those of you that are physically injured and physically unable, maybe you were born that way, maybe you got injured, etc., etc. Let's hope you get your SNAP benefits. Listen, y'all, to the people that cannot do it on their own, those are the people we need to take care of. But for all of you millions of able-bodied freeloaders, the gig is up, man. No more free rides. The free ride is over. For illegals, for people that are able, free ride is over. Don't care if you don't like it. For everybody that got to work, they 9 to 5s or self-employed or whatever it is that they do, if they don't manage their money right, if they don't make right decisions, guess what? They not eating. They got to wait every 2 weeks, every week, every month, however they get paid until they can buy some more food. They don't get SNAP. They don't get this. They don't get that. So anyhow, with that being said, y'all, I'm going to turn back around and go live in, like I said, about 5 minutes, maybe 10, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm starting to live back up, and wait till you see what I'm talking about. Shout out to those of you that understand what I'm saying. Again, to the people who are unable, prayers to them. I hope that they are able. Maybe they'll get a job. Maybe they'll get a windfall of money where they don't even have to rely on SNAP. Maybe they'll get an opportunity they've been working towards. Maybe a door open. Maybe a prayer get answered, etc., etc. To those individuals, we absolutely need to take care of them. And I hope that for those that need the SNAP, that truly need it, I hope that somehow, some way, it gets divvied out to them first. You know, our military, you know what I'm talking about. The people who need it. The people who got families who absolutely need it. But to all you freeloaders who are able to get out and do something, and you just choose, I ain't working, I'm not doing nothing. You want to be in that sin of sloth, the 7 deadly sins, you know, that laziness. Shame on y'all. The gig is up. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all in about 5 to 10 minutes. Let me go ahead and end this stream, and we're going to start this thing back up. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all in about 5 to 10 minutes. Peace and blessings to those of you in the chat. See you in about 5 to 10 minutes.